As mentioned in the beginning of this course, we are using two 126-gallon tanks for this particular build. Now, these tanks are sitting on 8-inch concrete blocks, 8-inch concrete blocks, and they are leveled out. So we dug the rocks, shaped it to where we needed to shape it to make sure that the tanks will sit on top of these blocks and be level. That is extremely important to have it level. So with that being said, that's all for the tanks, just positioning the tanks to where you need it to be at. And then next, what we need to do is install the bottom drain. Now, we know that the bottom drain is where the solids are going to be removed from. So we have to make sure that we incorporate a bottom drain if we want solid removal, proper solid removal from a round tank. So what we started off doing was placing a hole in the center of the round tank, the bottom of the round tank. And what we used was a 2-inch hole saw. We used a 2-inch hole saw. From there, we took the bottom drain that we have and we separated it. We undrilled the screws that are in there and we separated them one from another. We took the top portion of the drain, slapped it on top of where we placed the hole at in the fish tank, and we fit it right inside of that. These are 2-inch bottom drains that we have. So it fits right on top of the hole that we already drilled. And then from there, where you see the places where the screws were at, we just marked each one of them. We marked each one of these holes. Then we drilled using a 1/4 inch drill bit. We drilled into each one of the respective holes that we marked. From there, we took the top portion of the bottom drain that we separated, the top portion, the portion that's gonna go inside of the fish tank. That portion, we siliconed it. Now make sure when you silicone it, you go extra heavy with the silicone. Make sure that you place adequate amount of silicone in there. You wanna make sure you do not skimp on the silicone. We had a problem because we skimped on it when building it. You don't wanna do that. You wanna make sure you place enough of it in there because it's enough water in there. Once the pressure builds up, it will leak. I promise you this. Make sure you put enough silicone in there. And then we put the top portion over the holes and then begin placing the screws back in there. Then we tip the tank sideways. It's easier to do this with 2 people. I'm gonna tell you that right now. It's much easier to do it with 2 people or multiple people to help out. So we tip the tank sideways, and then we line up the back portion of the drain, and then we line it up to the screws, and then from there we have to screw it in while one person is applying pressure. And you want, hold on, let's make sure that you put silicone on that back portion as well. Heavy amounts of silicone before you line it up against the screws. Heavy amounts against the silicone. Make sure you do a pattern to where it's going across each one of the holes, going around it and connecting to the other hole. You want to make sure there's no area where any water could leak out. And make sure you put a bunch of it on there. I'm telling you this now. Put a bunch of it on there. So now once you have it siliconed up, you put it and line it up with the screws. And then one person is applying pressure and the other person is drilling it. You're drilling it in there and making sure that they connect. When they connect, they'll start to seep together. And then you'll get them all tight. You do a star pattern. Start from the top, go from the bottom. And then you go back to the top right, bottom left. You have to do a pattern when you're putting it on there to make sure it seats correctly and there's no leakage that occurs. So after that, we have our bottom drain installed, at least the foundation of it installed. Now, from the bottom portion of it, we place an elbow on there, and then that connects out. We extend that elbow out, and then we connect both tanks to a 2-inch line. These are 2-inch PVC fittings that are coming out of this bottom drain. So we connect both of the extensions coming from the bottom drain on both tanks. We connect them to one main line that is going back to the sump tank. Now, since this is a 2-inch line, we need to use a 3-inch hole saw. We're gonna cut a 3-inch hole saw into the sump tank, and we're gonna place a 2-inch uniseal inside of the sump tank, and that's where the pipe is gonna go. Now, you guys can add dishwashing liquid. That will help you insert the pipe into the uniseal because it's a tight fit. So if you add some soap around there, that will definitely make it a lot easier. So a 3-inch hole saw is required for a 2-inch uniseal in order to fit that pipe. Now we are complete with the return coming from the drain. All we have to do now is insert the standpipe for the drain. Now the standpipe is what is going to control the water level in the fish tank. while simultaneously removing solids from the bottom. And you'll be able to see as we continue going. So what we need to do is we need to take a 2-inch PVC pipe, and what we need to do is measure the length of the pipe so we can figure out how much we want to cut. So for instance, for this particular build, what we want to do is, and this is for a rule of thumb, you want to have at least 6 inches of freeboard space from the top of your standpipe to the top of the actual fish tank. So you want to have that 6 inches of just air, no water or anything. So that's our standpipe is going to be basically 6 inches below the top of the fish tank. And that's where we're going to place our water level at. So what we'll do is we'll take our pipe and we need to couple it with a 2-inch female to male threaded end. That end needs to be threaded. And with that threaded end, what we'll do is we'll place some sealant tape around it, and then we'll place it inside of the actual bottom drain. And the bottom drain is threaded. For this type of drain is actually threaded. So when you stick it in there, you just have to turn it, get it real tight, and then it'll be in there. It'll be nice and snug in there. And that is our standpipe. This is the water level. It will be maintained at that height. So what we need to do now is we need to incorporate the actual bottom solids removal capabilities to this drain, because it doesn't have that right now. All it is just a standpipe that's maintaining the water level. It's not capable of sucking solids from the bottom when you have it just plain like this. So what we need to do is we need to place a weir over the standpipe. And basically what a weir does is it forces the solids to suck from the bottom, not from the top, but be sucked from the bottom of the tank and then forcibly move through the standpipe. That's exactly what it does. And let me show you exactly how to build it, and you'll get a better idea on how it functions. So the weir, what it should be the at least the height of the tank. So the standpipe is 6 inches lower. The weir is going to be taller than the standpipe. It's going to be taller than the standpipe. So we're going to put this about pretty much level with the fish tank. So we'll cut it. What we did was use 4-inch drain pipe. You can use 4-inch PVC, but we use 4-inch drain pipe because it's lighter and it's cheaper. So you can use 4-inch drain pipe, cut it to the length of the tank or the height of the tank. And then from there, what we do is we put these slits in the bottom of the weir. And this is where the water is going to be forced. The water and the solids are going to be forced to go through this area because there's no other place for it to go. It can't go through the top of the standpipe because that's blocked off with the weir. So it's forced to go in here, and then the solids will then come up all the way to the top of the standpipe and then be removed out of the system, out of the tank. And that is a bottom drain.